Jessica Jones? I should know. I always get her confused with Jessica James because of Jesse James and how long. I think it's Jessica Jones. She works at American Airlines. She graduated like 3 years ago. She's a relatively new grad, and she works in the communication department. She's a great person to talk to for like, how did you get from here to there so quickly? And I think she did an internship for Southwest Airlines, so she can talk about that as well. So, all right. So, are we recording? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So I'm Dr. Richardson. I'm going to go ahead and get started. This is a little bit different NCA Future Pros meeting in that I'm just basically using NCA Future Pros as a way to talk to you about the internship course and internships in general. Okay. So I've got several talking points to inform you about this, but also feel free to ask questions. Okay. And so I see different people in the audience. Some of you are already registered for the internship course, so ask me questions about that if you need to. Or if you're just interested in general about internships, ask me about that. So anything about internships, this is the forum for that. So let's start with this. So does everybody know what an internship is? What's that? Anybody like, I don't want to admit it, but everybody think I'm
unpaid work. Please explain. Not necessarily.
I'll explain no matter what. So an internship is a temporary position with a student, typically a student, works for an organization for a limited amount of time, typically around a semester. Some of them are paid and some are not. I'll talk about that more in a moment. And the idea is basically to bridge your college experience with your future professional career and kind of give you a taste, a little bit of experience with a full-time career in one of these fields that you're interested in. And we offer course credit for that. So two things I'll talk about. There's many things I'll talk about. One thing is you can do this for course credit, but feel free to do an internship even if it's not for course credit. Okay, so that would be my advice. You know, I would do an internship if it's within your power to do it. I would do it. So that's what an internship is. I've got a list of questions here to kind of guide me. Why should you do an internship? Okay, nice. Why?
To gain experience.
That's exactly what I have. To gain experience. So first is to gain experience. I mean, basically, a lot of students, and I don't know, this may or may not apply to you, a lot of students have jobs, typical college jobs. I have a student who regularly works at Potbelly. I mean, that's a good job for college, they can make money, but it's not necessarily going to help him transition into a full-time gig after college graduation. So the main thing is to use the internship to gain experience. Another reason is to learn what you don't want to do. Because I've been the internship director here at UNT in our department for 13 years or so, and so I've seen a lot of students who had their mind made up to go into advertising, or really I see a lot as law. You know, a few students I really want to be a lawyer, so they go intern for a law firm and they come back like, I never want to be a lawyer, I'm not going to law school. So they learn like through that process, that's not what I want to do. So do an internship to gain experience and then also learn what you want to do maybe, or what you don't want to do. Okay. The third reason is to network, and so right now your networks, I don't know, my guess is they're more limited now than they will be in the future. There's no doubt about that, because you'll get jobs and your network's going to grow. By network, I mean your connections, okay? So right now, you know, obviously you're connected to your fellow students, but guess what? They all have the same experience and look at the same jobs you are, so they're not very helpful, right? Your parents, you know, relatives, things like that, that's your network. But you really want to branch off into people who are not relatives, who are in the careers that you're interested in, and get to know them. But really what's more important is get them to know you, so that they know who you are when they have a job opening or whatever. And so one of the best ways to do that is through a network. Did anybody come see Lexi McPherson speak at the advertising? One thing she said, did she say the advertising industry is small or gigantic in terms of knowing everybody in it? You remember?
So it's really small.
It's small. You know, when I think about advertising, I think it's a major industry, you know, headquarters in LA, New York, Austin, Dallas obviously is a big market, and there's no way you would know everybody. But she's made the great point that you get in that industry for a little while, and you start to see the same names over and over again. And that industry turns over a lot. So she's been laid off a couple times, and she's really good at her job. But you know, they lose clients, no fault of their own, and then they have to lay somebody off. So she's had great success in turning these layoffs into great opportunities because of her network. So that's the other reason you want to do an internship. And because I do this, I guess I have students every semester graduate in 6, 8 weeks, 2 months, 4 months after graduation, I get an email. Dr. Richardson, can't find a job. What advice can you give me? And that's my first advice is to go network. Like go find ways to meet people in the profession you want to work for. So internships is a great way to do that before you graduate. All of our NCAA Future Pros guest speakers recommend internships. I'm pretty sure 90% of them have said do an internship. That's helped me get my job. And then lastly is to apply what you've learned in the classroom. So are you ever wondering, like, the stuff you're learning, is this going to benefit me? Crisis communication is going to benefit you. But how many of our guest speakers also have talked about the importance of writing skills? I mean, every one of them, talks about the importance of writing skills and that presentation of your written communication. So this is your chance to take what we're learning in the classroom and apply it to an organization. So you get to see some connections you may not have seen before. So all those are reasons to do it. Okay. So any questions so far?
I just want to add to that writing point. Like I was talking with one of the athletics media relations directors, and she was saying that like their biggest thing is writing.
Yeah.
And like they get so many interns and stuff from different departments that go in there and they cannot write.
Yeah.
And they're quickly out of there. And for ones that can actually know how to write effectively, that stay on and end up getting offered a job, and then internship then turns into a job. So
I totally agree. So, here in my classes, I have these little homework assignments, and I'll grade your homework and mark it up. I'm not doing it because I hate you, I'm doing it because I love you. And I want to help. I mean, if some student, some employer sees some of the things I see, you're going to lose that opportunity. Like that. There's no like, oh, they seem like a nice person, but they can't write, so it's over. So that's why we harp on it so much. I mean, it is so important. So, all right. So our internships paid?
Some of them.
Can be, okay. So you're unfortunately in a discipline area degree where they're not as paid as often as there are in other industries. So if you were an MBA or business student, they're going to have more paid internship opportunities than you will. But they're out there. You just gotta look a little bit harder. So you just gotta go find them, and sometimes you'll see those opportunities. But a lot of internships, I would say of my students, probably 150, 200 have done interns. I'd say probably, what percentage do you think are paid out of that large number? What do you think? 40%? 25? 40? 60? I'd say between 10 and 15 probably percent. So, I mean, you gotta go find them. You gotta go, you gotta be cast a wide net, talk to as many people as you can, network, try to get those. And one thing is, you'll see a lot of internships that are not paid. So why do you do it? You do it for the experience and that sort of thing. But one thing you can also do when you're looking for an internship that's not paid is kind of get a sense of, do they hire their interns? Because they may not pay, but they may use the internship program as a way to identify future employees. So you got to kind of weigh that when you're looking at internship options. Do I not want to be paid but have a chance to work there? So I would look at that. And then some of them, a few of them will do a stipend at the end. So you'll work free for your entire internship, and at the end they'll give you like a $500 stipend. And then some will pay like $10, $12 an hour. So that's the ones that are much. But what happens is that's what the most people want too. There's a lot of competition for those. So you gotta get on the ball with those. Okay. What should I be wary of when looking for an internship? One thing you want to be careful about is being a gopher. So the radio industry is, to me, one of the worst culprits of this. The radio industry is really bad about this, in my opinion. If you ever go to like the Dallas, what's it called, the State Fair, or those types of events, Fort Worth has the riverfront. They always have radio stations there, and you see people handing out koozies as you walk by, and handing out bumper stickers. Unfortunately, that's their interns a lot of times, and that's what they do. They go to events like that as that's their internship, and they go to events and they hand out stuff. And they box it all up at the end, they haul it to a truck, and they leave, and they do it the next day, they set up a booth. And that to me is like a trained chimp to do that. You know, you want to get an internship where you're learning good skills. Now, some radio interns have been good. I've had students who actually interned for DJs. And so they were like the right-hand person for the DJ. And that to me is a better experience because you're seeing the on-air talent and you're getting networked in with them. So be careful, you know, that's one thing you want to negotiate and learn about and research is this going to allow me to do real skills and not just make copies, stuff like that. If you find yourself, which is another point, if you find yourself in that situation, you know, and it just look, you're 6 weeks in, that's all you're doing is making copies and doing grunt work. Get out, you know, come see me. If you're doing a course, my course or e-course, come see me. We talk about how to get out of there and find something else. Other issues you want to be wary of is harassment. I mean, I've had very few cases of sexual harassment since I've been here in internships, but primarily females, college age, that is actually one of the biggest targets for harassment. So, you know, be leery of that. You want to look at the culture of the organization when you go to interview there. You know, is it real informal, real formal? Will you be working with someone in an isolated position? Always be aware of your safety is what I'm getting at. But like I said, it's been very rare. I think I've had one case where that may have happened, and we had the student move to another organization. So. And then sometimes the organization says, you know, they present the internship to you in this wonderful way. You're going to learn so much. You're going to have, you know, flexible work hours. Whenever you want to work, you come in. As soon as they get you in, it's like, okay, be here at 8 and make copies. You know? So that's another thing I'd be clear. If that happens to you, you come see me and we'll find another place for you to go. Okay, so next topic is how do you get internships? So I've got several sources for you to help you there. So Lance, can you help me? Make yourself useful. All right, so there's many different. First of all, let me say this as a catch-all. If you do the internship course, I don't do placement, you know, or no faculty do placement. You know, if you want to do the internship course or do an internship, it's incumbent upon you to go get the internship, just like you would a job. So basically, what I'm saying is, if you sign up for the course, don't expect me to have an internship waiting for you at Southwest Airlines or something. You have stuff to go find it. So there's many ways to do that. Okay, so that sheet I gave you, you can keep it. This is a list of the organizations our students have interned at since I've been at UNT. There may be some towards the end that I didn't capture, but you get a good slice of life here in terms of what our students do. You have their supervisor name of the intern, and then you have the contact information. So use this if you find it useful. Like, let's say that you really want to work in the sports radio industry. You notice that one of our students interned at the Ticket. I actually know Tom Gribble is no longer at the Ticket. But anyway, but that's a good point. So let's say you really want to work at the Ticket. You email them, and the email bounces back to you. Tom Gribble must be gone. So, but we know the Ticket hires interns, right? Because they've done it once. So then just contact their human resources department and say, hey, I'm a student, I want to do an internship, who should I email? The thing that you need to understand is you're free labor or cheap labor. So you're not bugging them. It's weird. Once you graduate, you're bugging them. When you're looking for a job, you're a pest. You know, you can be a pest, I guess I should say. But interns, you don't pester them that much. They kind of see you as, they want to be helpful to you. They they know which position you're in, and they know it's hard, and so they're much more helpful to interns than they would be somebody who's graduating and looking for a job most of the time. So anyway, this is just one place, and you'll notice there's places in Denton here, there's places in Louisville, there's places in Dallas. So that's another thing you want to think about is like location. You have transportation, if not, you need to be more local. So any questions about this list? Okay, so that's one avenue, one resource. The other resource, if you want to come by my office, I've got a folder. It's more, I would say, old style, before social media. Just a big binder of places that have hired our interns in the past. And so there's just about every industry there. If you want to flip through that and write that information, you can. And the other place is, y'all know about or the Comm Studies website? I don't even know it's comm.unt.edu. Click on like two links, maybe undergraduates, the first link, and then internship is a link. And then there's a list. It'll bring you to another link that's internship vacancies or positions. And so what I'm doing now the past 3 years, I'm forwarding, when I get those in, I forward those to Kara. She's our web person, and she posts those. And so now it's more electronic. Now keep in mind, it's incomplete because a lot of the ones I have are old and they're in my office. So, keep in mind, those organizations that are old, they're hiring interns every year, right? Because interns leave. So, Richardson public relations firm, one of the big PR firms, I get stuff from them all the time, every year. Why? Because their interns leave. So, keep that in mind too. If you're looking, you can see these wanted ads, and they'll say deadline apply by December 1st, and it's December 7th. I would still apply. I mean, even if you happen to miss that cycle, keep your name in front. They're going to have another hiring cycle, so keeping your name in front is only going to be helpful. So I would never really worry too much about the deadlines. Make the deadlines, obviously. If you can make the deadline, make the deadline. But if you really want one, you miss a deadline, hey, I missed a deadline, I just found out about this or whatever, can you include me on the next circuit? Or do you have any openings? Maybe they hire someone who didn't work out. Keeping your name in front never hurts. Okay. All right, so the website's helpful. This list is helpful. Use your own personal networks, parents, relatives. It's usually not going to be them that helps you directly, but they're going to know someone that can help you. And then Google. I mean, where would you like to do an internship? Ron's group.
Of course, Richard's group.
Richard's group. Okay, so yeah, so you've got someone built in. So it's PR work though. So you can do the Richard's group, maybe public relations in general, maybe there's another PR firm. So I know people work in PR. I can give you a name. That's what I do. That's one place I can help you. I can give you names and contacts, and then Dr. Richardson suggested I contact you to talk about internships at your company. Usually they're former students, they want to help, and that's what the role I play as a connector. Okay, where do you want to do an internship, or where would you want to? What's your dream?
I don't know. I'm doing an advertising internship right now, so I'm looking at other ad firms in Dallas because we do one in Denton.
So you know Lexi now, and there's other people.
I have a few contacts in the
So
industry.
it's all about like contacts that you know. So pretty much, there's any industry you name, I know at least one person I can connect you with. Okay, so keep that in mind too. Any questions about finding internships that I haven't covered? Oh, our office, the Comm Studies office, is going to hire an intern for the spring semester. So in that role, you're basically going to be doing a lot of social media if you're interested. Ask me this page. There's probably lots of free candy laying around. So. But it's good experience in Kara, our webmaster. What do you call it? Webmaster. We'll say webmaster. Is having a baby, supposed to be on maternity leave, and so we need someone to kind of fill that role of keeping our website updated with stories, event announcements, things like that. So that would be a good opportunity. And what I want to encourage that person to do is do some stories on our alumni and what they're doing, things like that. So you get some good experience writing and getting your material marketed, and so you're building a portfolio basically. So one thing you want to do for an internship is build a portfolio. So whatever you do there, anything you can keep from your internship, keep it and put it in a portfolio, which is those big binder things, you know. And that way you can bring it to a job interview and say, this is what I've done. Here's a story I've written.
Would that particular internship count towards full credit?
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a good question. So let's talk about course credit. Just one second. Well, let's kind of get into that now. Related to that is summer internships, because I know a lot of you may not be able to do an internship in the fall or spring. So there's a couple ways, and so I don't get paid in the summer. Do you know that? You know that? Professors don't get paid in the summer? No, I'm serious. We have like a 9-month contract. But, even though I don't get paid, I live to serve my students. In the summer, well, if you teach in the summer, you just get paid for the class you're teaching. If you don't teach in the summer, you're basically, you have your 9-month salary, right? So what I'm getting at is, although I don't get paid this summer, I will still do a summer internship for you. I'll supervise it. So a couple things you can do there. One is you can register for a summer internship. Or if you have scholarship issues, things like that, you can do the internship in the summer, do it all, but register for it in the subsequent following semester. Does that make sense? So you would have done all the work, you're done with it, you register for it in the fall, and you would get credit for it after you've done all the work. Okay, so let's talk about the course, okay? One more handout. It's not faster. All right, so this handout basically describes the course if you want to get course credit for doing an internship. So a couple of key points I'll just highlight. So you'll see some deadlines there for spring semester. The application deadline is December 9th. I don't have summer listed there. If you want to do a summer internship, email me and come talk to me, or that's part of the, we'll arrange that over email or through a meeting. So generally speaking, I actually look at this, I'm kind of mad for not taking this out. So almost everybody does an internship for 3 hours. Who's registered? Some of you registered, right? Some of you registered for 1 hour, do you know that? Then you get it fixed. So the way it was set, this is just a historical thing that was here when I got here, it was already in place. The idea was that people could do an internship for 1 hour credit. They would do 50 hours work, 2 hours credit, 100 hours work, 3 hours credit, 150. Well, nobody ever does that. Everybody does 3 hours, because why would you ever need just 1 hour, right? So it's really created a headache for me, because people register for it, it defaults to 1 hour, and then we gotta go in and fix it. So if you do an internship for the course credit and you go to register, and it's not your fault, I mean, you probably didn't know this was going to happen, it defaults you to 1 hour unless you go in there and manually change it to 3 hours. So keep that in mind, okay? So that's why this explanation has the 50-hour breakdown. But if you do the 3 hours, which most people do, almost everybody does, your expectation is you will put in 150 hours of work at that location. About 10 hours per week, 15 hours per week, something like that. So you're on site, you're working. We don't really meet here at UNT. You don't meet with me. You just do your work on the site. You'll do a daily journal, like here's what I'm doing each day. You just keep a word file on that. Put your times that you worked and what you did. And that'll be like your log. And then at the end, you'll write a paper about the organization that you worked at. 5-page, 6-page academic paper, okay? And your supervisor will get an evaluation form, they'll fill it out on you, and they'll give you a letter grade, A through F. Nobody's ever got an F. That'd be pretty bad. Or a D, for that matter. So all that stuff combined creates your grade. And so I guess you have to stay through 6 hours of upper level electives as a comm student, is that right? Yeah. So this is basically one of your courses. So 3 of your 6 hours would be this internship course. And it's just like any other course in the sense that you get a grade for it, you know. On the next page, this is the criteria. So be a communication studies major, a junior or senior. So there's like this thought that we want to prepare people, make sure they understand the content, and then we send them out to the internships, kind of the reason for this. Minimum overall GPA of 3.0. You get a 2.95, I can round it up, you know. But 2.5, I can't help, or something like that, you know, obviously that's too low. Have completed the communication studies core. I guess that's your, what, 2011 classes? I don't even know.
Up to 3010.
3010.
3010 is your like qualifier to claim your
That pushes you
major.
through, and then
Yeah.
6 hours of upper level hours in comm studies at UNT. Meet the employer's requirements, and then have me sign off on it. So that's the way the process works. You know, you're gonna go get the internship and get approval from the organization, register for the class, assuming you meet all these criteria, and then you start like the next semester. Okay. You can break it up if you do it. You can do like, I've had people do an internship where it's like a project and they're done in like, they'll do like 75 hours there and they're done, and then we'll place them in another location for 75 hours, so you can do that 150 hours that way. So what questions do you have about that? Yeah, Bree?
Kind of on that topic, like if you're already working, can you do an internship outside of, like I work 15, 20 hours a week on campus, but a past company wants me to do some of their social media stuff. So like, could I call that an internship? Because it would be an intern role. Does that make sense? Like, can you do that?
Yeah, so one thing you can't do, and this may answer your question, like what I have sometimes happen is people, how many of you have jobs right now you work? So this is typical of UNT, all our students work. How many of you communicate at your jobs? Right, so everybody, right? So you can't say, this is what you can't do. I have a job, I communicate my job, can I count that as an internship? Because a lot of people ask me that. All right, so yes, if you're a hostess at Cheesecake Factory, you communicate, but you can't count. But an internship is usually called an internship by the company. Like they're calling it that. That helps you understand that that's what it is. So yes, to answer your question, yeah, I mean, so this is just a previous place you worked and now they want to bring you on to do social media.
Like I did an internship there and they want me to continue like doing, because one of their admins is leaving or something, and so like they want me to do remote work.
Yeah.
In addition, like I do advertising for UNT right now, so it would be like in addition to that.
Yeah, so you're doing professional, like this, you're doing the type of work you would do with your degree.
Yeah, like
With
it's
your
for
degree,
AT&T.
you're not going to be waiting tables, hopefully.
Hopefully.
So you're doing you're doing advertising, career-oriented work. That's an internship.
Okay. But you could do that in addition to having, like you don't have to just do an internship, right?
So you would have a job where you work so many hours a week.
I guess like that's
Yeah,
kind of
you
my
can do
question
that.
is you could,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's sort of like your business side of things. I mean, so the main thing you want to do with the intern, as long as you're doing 10 to 15 hours a week, you're going to make the hours. So
Okay.
the rest of your time, what's left of it, will be classwork and job and other stuff. So that's up to you guys. So yeah, that's one of the biggest challenges I face is that, you know, people wanting to take their current jobs and that's the second biggest challenge. Take their current jobs and make it into an internship. You know, you really want to make sure that the company you're working for says, let's do an internship, but specifically you're not going to do what you do anymore. You're not going to be a host anymore. You're going to go into the back office, you're going to do marketing for Cheesecake Factory or something like that. So it's a clear distinction, and it needs to be professional. You know, it needs to be something you would aspire to be when you graduate. And related to that, so anyway, question about that? So, you know, one thing you want to be, you know, you want to also avoid is trying to fit this to to fill a life problem, to fix a life problem. So every once in a while I have a student who, they have one class left to graduate, they have a job, they're tired of driving to Denton, and hey, I learned about this internship thing. Why, let me just do this as my internship. I'm tired of, I live in Dallas and I want to drive all the way through for one class. My GPA is 2.3. I'm gonna say no. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say no. So that happens too. So don't find yourself in that situation. But that does raise the issue. If you don't have the GPA requirement, I still recommend you do the internship, and I can still help you get one. I'll still facilitate that. You just don't get credit for it, but it's still a great experience for you. So if you are looking at this going, well, I don't think I can make a 3.0 with what I've got now, I would still recommend doing the internship for the experience of it. It's better than not having an experience. Okay, I'm asking, any more questions? This makes that much sense the first go around.
Another kind of question,
Yeah.
sorry. I'm just thinking, because I know like a few people in here are looking at like advertising. What if you do freelancing? Does it have to be with a specific company, or can it be with like
You gotta have an
professional
audience.
clientele?
Yes, you gotta have somebody using your services. The danger about that would be you're freelancing and you get a project and you do the internship course, but
You don't like do the 100.
it's like 30 hours
Yeah.
you're done, and then you gotta find some way to fill that other 120 hours.
Okay.
So you'd want to make sure you had several projects lined up if you freelance. Do that. Just things that are coming to my mind. Don't ever forget that just Googling, like, if you have a passion for, I think it's something that people have passions for, the music industry. That industry's kind of dying. They should make a better industry. Sports, energy drinks, Red Bull. That's, for whatever reason, that's your passion. That's actually one I know. We've actually placed interns. It's on there's the Red Bull, but that's your passion. And let's say I don't have any contacts, we don't know anybody that does it. Just Google them and just like you would for a job, and just say, hey, I'm Red Bull passion. That's what I want to do for my life. I want to do an internship, and I don't even care if I get paid. Just put me in there or wherever, and I just want to be a part of this organization and work my way up. So people were usually very receptive to that. Now, the PR agency that Ryan mentioned, they're not going to do that. They're going to do a formal hiring process, most likely. But a lot of organizations like just to see passionate people want to work for their brands, and so you can take that route as well. Yeah.
Okay, so can you help us with those organizations that have those more formal hiring processes? Do you have tools to help us?
What do you mean by tools?
I mean, like, can you help us go over cover letters or, applying for those higher firms? Yeah? Yes. You just sign up for that, okay?
Yeah, you're going to save me lunch or buying a six-pack of beer. Yeah, I mean,
The Career Center. helps
Yeah.
with that. Career Center,
I
you
know
have to
Career
pay
Center.
that.
I just haven't had a great experience with them,
Yeah.
or, in general, so,
do you work with Rachel Smith there?
I don't think so by name, I don't remember, but I've reached out to them, and then,
Let me say this to all of you. If you email Rachel Smith there and say, Dr. Brian Richardson referred me to you, she'll take care of you. Now, she will anyway. I think she's great. She's fantastic in my experience. But if you're ever worried about that, I mean, they're really, like resumes, I haven't built a resume in 20 years, probably 15 years. So my resume is 30 pages long because we do Vitas, and they just keep going on and on and on for everything we accomplish. It just keeps adding on. So I'm not really up to date on what the latest trends are.
it's
But in terms of like a
cover letters what I'm more.
if you want me to look at a cover letter,
They can
I'll
be
look
color
at it.
now, but one page.
I don't need you to help me build a resume, I got that.
I'm not gonna pick out a top for your job. All right, there you go, over here. Yeah.
In my experience, the Career Center is really helpful. Like, you just go there, you set like an appointment or whatever, and they actually had some internships that I didn't even
Yeah.
ask for, and they were like, yeah, here's some things that they're looking for, and they're looking for people to do like maybe during the winter break and like go work at like the Denny County office and just do something.
Yeah, so that's another place to find out internship, you'll see postings for their, they probably have I think they have a website, just like we do, where they post their interns. You're looking for the same jobs they are a lot of times. And go to I think it's the PRSSA, does that sound familiar? Public Relations Student Facebook site here at UNT, and they'll sometimes post the type of jobs you would want. But you're basically competing against them to a large degree. But like Lexi said, we have a different skill set than they do. So.
The Eagle Network also has a filter for internships, and you can filter paid and unpaid, which helps. I found a few that way.
Have you had anybody, or do you know of any like weekend internships? Are those out there?
Yeah, like radio stations,
Yes.
Texas Motor Speedway, I had a placement intern there, and so all she did was event planning to gear it towards one of their races. And so obviously that weekend, she probably worked 40 hours just in 3 days, so
I guess my main question is, like, once you have the internship and, like, your job description, do they use it as, like, a teaching experience, or do they come and just throw stuff at you and expect you to know how to?
it's every organization is just like you started a job there, they're all different. So some of them are very structured, they'll place you with someone, you'll have very little uncertainty because they're kind of walking through everything, and some of them are a little bit more, okay, we need you to do this, and they walk away and they're expected to kind of get it done. So it's really that's one thing I would ask them. So you'll do a job interview with these, no matter what. So that's one thing I would ask is, I wouldn't frame it so it makes you look like you can't do anything.
Right.
But I would frame it like, so is your internship program real structured, or you say less structured, kind of let them fill in the blanks for you. That's a great question to ask, because the less structured it is, the more uncertainty and anxiety you're probably going to have. So you want to ask yourself, do you want to work through that situation or not? But that's a great point too. You do an internship interview, don't sell yourself short. Have confidence. First of all, if they brought you in, they must like you. Have confidence that you can ask tough questions of them. I shouldn't say tough, I should say fair questions. Like, is the internship structured? What types of tasks will I be expected to do? Is this hands-on learning, or will it be, what type of hands-on learning will it be? That type of thing. Don't just, I'm just a lowly student and I'm going to say whatever.
What can I gain from this experience?
Yeah. Yeah, couch it in a professional way, but find ways to get that type of information. You don't want to come across like a millennial either. Like, I've got tickets to go see radio station placements on whoever. I got tickets to this concert, and I'm going to go for a couple days next week. You're still, the millennial perception is that, you kind of want the organization to cater life to you. You don't want to give that impression, so you still want to be as professional as possible. The good thing about UNT students is you all work, so you don't typically, is this story one? Like students at TCU or whatever, no, I shouldn't say TCU, like SMU students, they don't work as much as you do, and so I think they're more likely to be the millennial attitude of cater the organization to my needs versus I'm going to get in there and just work my tail off to make something good happen. So we'll edit that out. I don't want SMU people mad at me, but that's the truth. I mean, think about it. How many of them work compared to how many of you guys work? I think we have the highest percentage of working students of any big school in Texas, like something like 60-something%. But in my classes, it's like 90%. So that's to your benefit, by the way. A lot of companies like hiring UNT students because you have a work ethic. I would sell that in a job interview. Take that shirt off.
You know what? I got yelled at in my last class. I had a couple of sorority girls like, I can't believe you've come in here. Where's yell in the middle of the class. One of them walked all the way to class and she still yelled at me.
TCU appreciates the free advertisement you're doing for them.
You know
On
what?
another campus. All right. We're going to edit all that out. All right, so
I don't control it.
All right, so my email address should be on that sheet of paper. If not, it's my last name at unt.edu. Email me and I can answer your questions. Okay. Oh, one last thing too. I always think of these last things. Is that like registration's already happened, right? For the spring. This class doesn't fill up. So let's say right now, you've got no plans to do an internship, but one falls in your lap, oh crap, I missed it, it's probably already a full class, well, that doesn't happen in internship. And you can register this a little bit later than you can in your normal class. Okay, so who's registered for an internship for the spring? Okay, you need to go online, have you sent me your application?
No, I have it right now.
Okay.
It says it.
You need to go online and see if you're registered for 3 hours or 1